Hello everybody, this is Kiereek here. Today we're doing a review for a game called Awesomenauts. Now, I've been playing this for a few years and it's a interesting game. This is including the DLC Starstorm, which adds a few characters, and I think that's pretty much about it. Maybe an arena, but not a whole lot. It's a MOBA, which means that it's similar to Defense of the Ancients or LOL. I'm sure there's some of you who play that, but this one is 2D, and it's only 3v3. So you're going to see battles kind of on a smaller scale, a little more tactical. If somebody dies, you are more boned than you would be otherwise. There's not a lot of people to fall back and catch you. Now you kill opponents to win solar. Solar is the in-game currency. You use that solar to buy power-ups and increase your attack, basically. So you can buy some pretty powerful secondary and primary abilities in addition to your primary attack. There are a good number of opponents, probably about 20 different characters now. And it has the traditional minions that go forward. In this case, they're droids. They go forward to kill turrets. When they kill the turrets, they can move past them and onto killing the base, which is the ultimate goal of every match. Now, matches can be pretty fast depending on how unbalanced it is, but I've had them go a long time, like over an hour before, between a team of two defensive players. So, in general, you do want to try to push. It's a game where defense has been pretty useful. You know, you hang back, you build up solar, and then you use that to push forward. But I think they're changing it a bit now. They just did a last big update. I haven't played it since, so I can't comment on that, but apparently it has made it more aggression oriented. So the pros for this game, it's good combat. It's largely based on timing, so you do have to range your opponent and combo them appropriately. So a lot of the special abilities are geared towards comboing them up. So, for example, one character I like to play as, Penny Fox, she has one move which breaks their defense and one move which pounces on them and causes massive damage. Now, combine the two of these together, and it's quite effective, especially when you get the charges back. She uses charges to use her attacks. I do recommend playing as her at least once. It's kind of cool. There are many characters, and they're all very different. No two characters are alike. If you're playing in the beginning, you usually get the Cowboy, Lone Star, you get Froggy G, and pretty soon you unlock a couple other ones, Leon, Voltar. So you got healers, you got tanks, you got kind of support characters, you've got quick striking assassins, you got everything you can imagine. It's all there. And it's easy to pick up and play. I know guys who got into this game and was like, hey, come play with us. So split screen it. It does have split screen, by the way. Pretty sweet. And it's even online. And these guys just pick it up, and they do get killed a lot, but they kind of grasp the idea pretty fast. Threat identification is easy. There's no guessing whether something's going to hurt you or not hurt you. It has gotten a little worse as the game has updated, because a lot of the special moves are getting more flourishy, and honestly that makes it difficult for me. I'm not good at telling apart what's can hurt me and what can't hurt me, but in general it's pretty easy. It's also easy to connect with friends. Like I said before, it has split screen, but you can also do it through Steam. If you open up your Steam interface and choose join game, it'll put you on a server with that person. That's one of the easiest ways. You can also invite them to a game from the in-game menu, which is pretty nice. And it's also runnable on weak computers. So I've been talking about integrated graphics, dual core. You can do it. Doesn't matter. It's pretty light, especially if you turn down the quality. Now onto the cons. As usual, it is with these kind of games, especially ones like this that are peer-to-peer, there's a host lag advantage, and sometimes it's pretty evident, especially when I was overseas there. Most of the players are either European or North American, so we got wrecked whenever we weren't the host, and whenever we were the host, it was like a slaughter. So if you live somewhere that's not in the usual player base, you might want to consider that. It does give you a huge advantage, and people will complain about it. Now, some characters feel a little bit unbalanced. So, for example, there's usually good about nerfing the OP ones, but there's a lot of characters now I just feel aren't very useful. Voltar is one of them. He was the original healer you get, and at a certain point you could make a great Voltar train. He'd like heal everybody up really well, and his attack was never that devastating. But nowadays they nerfed his healing extremely, and I haven't had a reason to really use him since. He's just not that useful anymore. And there's a few characters like that. It's just not. There's no point picking them up. I don't see the benefit of it. Sometimes you'll run across them, but in general, I find they can get trumped pretty easily. Now, as with most MOBAs, there's kind of a foul online community. Apparently, it's not as bad as LoL and stuff, but I mean, the player base is smaller here. And people get upset, they swear. So if you have kids and stuff like that, maybe keep that in mind. Keep it a private game between you and your kids. You do get some patches once in a while. They do completely change the game though, so that's kind of a con. Like normally a patch would be a good thing, but I find whenever they release a patch, it changes something I really loved or overhauls it in a major way. I believe they just added experience and leveling up, which somewhat existed before, but now it's much more prominent, and not sure if I'm a fan of that yet. So let's get on to the score. For gameplay, I do like it smooth. It does what you say as long as there's no lag, and it's subtly intelligent, so you do need to coordinate with your teammates. You do need to coordinate your attacks and kind of plan out, are you a good match to take down this opponent, or are you going to be outmatched because of their own abilities? So for gameplay, I'm going to give it a 2.5 out of 3. Pretty good gameplay in my opinion. Now, addiction. You will play it now and then, but the one thing I always find hurts an addiction score is how you feel after losing. So in a competitive game, you will lose, and it pisses me right off. I'm always upset when I lose. And I find that this game, especially online communities that are this vocal, make the addiction really difficult to sustain. So I'm going to have to give it a 1 out of 2. Really, the only reason you're there is for the online mode. When you're not enjoying the online mode, there's nothing there for you. Reliability, easy score for this one. I've never had an issue with it. 1 out of 1. It runs smoothly. 60 frames per second looks beautiful. It looks absolutely stunning, especially if you have a nice display. I really like it. Now, the atmosphere gets you into the atmosphere of combat, I suppose. It's hard to do atmosphere in games that aren't really world-based, like you can't explore the world. But I find it does work pretty well. You are into it. It gets intense, and you feel it. Now, for that atmosphere, I give it a 1.5 out of 2. And it does a good job of building it because there are environmental hazards. You are always kind of engaged and drawn in, especially when you're based on an attack. It gets emotional real fast. Finally, replay value. You can keep replaying it as long as you want, basically, but don't expect too much new stuff other than the patches. So I have to give it a 1 out of 2. Basically, you can play it for a long time. I keep coming back to it now and then, but I would say that it's nothing ever surprising. That means our total score is a decent 7 out of 10. So it's a great game. I do recommend picking it up if you can get it for cheap, maybe with some friends. It's definitely better with others, and give it a try. Thanks for watching, guys. Please try to watch the gameplay portion. I also have a handful of older Awesomenauts videos sitting around, so watch those too if you want. Get a better idea of what to expect. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.